Hey, this is Paul Payton with Focal Splash, and here's how I would do it. I've been asked to show somebody how to composite a lamb into this image. We're actually going to be compositing this little critter into this image. And to do that, let's first continue just a little bit here with maybe straightening the image a little bit. We probably want to bring him into the 2/3 like that. Turn on content aware crop. So we try and fill in these pixels here and hit OK. And see what it does. And it filled in those pixels there. It's not that great. Let's zoom in over there and see what it did. Alright, we see that it duplicated this. So with the clone stamp tool, just going to grab right here and erase that so you can't really tell it's duplicated. This is pretty good. These lines here, we're going to get rid of these. I'm going to choose J and hit Shift J to cycle through this until I get to the spot healing brush. And I'm just going to go right over that and get rid of this line here. This there maybe. You know, something like that. Alright, just for now, that's good. We're going to want to get rid of those telephone lines, those barbed wire. Not bob wire, but barbed wire. The next thing is take a little zoom in here, and we've got a tag right there. I'm just going to clone stamp some of the sky from right here. Drop it right on top of this. Permanently gone. Alright, now hit Control J before we make any other changes, and I'm going to just crazy about clone stamping this little spot right here. It's gone. Okay, so like to change the sky up and say open image, and then I'm gonna unlock it, Control T, flip it around horizontally because we have the sun coming from that direction, and hit enter, the move tool, and just drag it up into our image and drop it in. Alright, we'll adjust the size and things in a moment. And so then I would like to double click here. We're going to go to blend if, and blend if the underlying layer is not, these blend controls are backwards to me or something, but we want to blend if the underlying layer is not protected by these sliders. Right? So the underlying layer needs to be lighter than this, and then there's this feathering transition. So I think that is going to work right there, and I'm going to hit OK, and then I like to put a layer mask on this and just go over the parts where we know there should not be sky. See, if you notice, some of these light areas were being affected by the sky, which is just not possible, right? Alright, and so there we go. All taken care of there. Just like that. And, you know, the opacity, that's a little bit harsh. Just bring it down, make the sky look like that. I like it. Back to the actual reason for this long-winded tutorial. We're going to grab this lamb with the V for the move tool and bring it up into the composition. Drop it right there, nice and big. Make it a little smaller. How big do we want that lamb? Well, I mean, it could be in the clouds. That'd be another type of interesting picture, but the lamb shouldn't be but maybe that big. Let's try a little bigger for now. And then I think we can hit Control and flip that horizontally so that the lamb is facing the boy. And he's a little big still. So let's see what happens if we put him there. Okay, all done. All right, problems with the lamb. We see that black in the image. What else is black in the image? There's nothing in the image that would be even remotely as black as this lamb. So we have that. The second thing is color. Is there anything truly white in the image? Even the sky doesn't have white anymore. There's nothing else white in the image. So the lamb its color is off. So this light coming in the image, if the lamb is white, then the light coming in at a yellowish almost color would color the lamb as well. So let's go ahead and just go up to Image, Adjustments, and Color Match. We have the lamb is selected. That's what we're coloring. And we're going to choose this source document, which is the document we're working on, and the bottom layer, which is the layer that this is all on. And so they turn the lamb that color. Let's do it about 50%. All right. So the lamb is now pretty much colored. This is what the lamb's color looked like before. And this is at 50% color matching. I think I like it. And I'm going to hit OK. All right, next thing is we're going to change the first I want to put up the test layer that I've created. I based this on Flern. If you ever learned who Aaron Nace is at Flern, he's pretty awesome. So this is based on his work, and I have made it my own. So what I'm going to do here is look at the black and white points in the image. And so I'm going to turn this on, and it's going to show me what is the blackest thing in the image. So right now, the boy's hair gets black pretty quick, a lot quicker than I expected. And then if you look, here's the boy's hair, but if you look over here, you can see the lamb's leg has some pretty good blackness. So the black point looks like it's going to match more than I expected it to. Let's look at the white point. See, there's the lamb's whiteness coming up at the same time the sun is coming, beaming on the boy's shirt. So in essence, it looks to me like the lamb is actually pretty well, the black and white points are correct. So if they weren't, I would put a curves adjustment layer here, and you can adjust the lamb's, or actually by clipping mask to just the lamb, you can adjust the lamb individually, the black and white point of the lamb, or you can adjust it up to give it less, less black. And at this point, just visually, I'm going to give it a little less black, like that. And so I turn this off and just look at the lamb. I think what happened is when we did the color adjustment, it automatically made this a little less black. So the color here and the color here do match better. So zooming in on the lamb's color, that green has got to go. Right. We see that it's not as black as it was before we did the color match. So I'm liking that. I think he could use some, supposed to be a white lamb. Let's go ahead and leave it for now. I'm going to go ahead and take care of the green on the lamb. So use this curves adjustment, use the hue and saturation layer. Let's just go to green, right? And with the dropper tool, choose this green that's right there. Just choose that green and go ahead and change the saturation down, all the way down. Let's see, turned it gray, which is fine. You know, something like that, just a little bit of saturation matching this other green down here. So we had this and now we have that, and it didn't affect the colors, any of the other colors on the lamb, unless there was some green that shouldn't have been really on the lamb that's kind of hidden anyway. It turned those greens into grays, which makes the lamb fit in the color, fit in the image better. All right, so we have the lamb there, and we have the boy looking up like that. Now, so what's wrong with the lamb now? We have light coming, hard light coming this direction. So much so that it's causing a shadow here on the boy. Here's the shadows. Here's the boy's arm. We got light on this side and dark shadow here. So we're gonna have to do that with the lamb. So right here above the lamb, create a, let's start off by creating a soft light layer and filling it with gray, 50% gray. I do that by hitting Shift Delete and bring up the fill dialog. I use Shift Delete and get the fill dialog for lots of things. And there we go, fills it with 50% gray. Didn't make any changes because it's on soft light, and gray is no change in soft light. So with the brush tool, we can paint with black and just at 100%, let's see what happens. We want to put some shadow on this side of the lamb because the sun's coming on the other side. I'm going to change the opacity of this a little bit, so don't worry too much. I'm not sure if this is going to be enough shadow, so I'm going to take it off of there. Put a little light here on this side of the lamb. This whole side will be lit up. And this side of the leg here. And even right here. But maybe right here it wouldn't be because of the other leg blocking a shadow, causing a shadow. All right. Now with this soft light layer, I'm not getting quite the effect that I'd like. So I'm going to go to hard light. All right, and you think, wow, that really ruined it. Let's just lower the opacity on this. Yeah, and that's not working for me either. So go back to soft light. All right, and let's just do a Control J, and also with the clipping mask, like that. Now we have twice as much. There we go. Twice as much light here. And I think we can, my brush isn't 100% soft. I think we can take some more off of here. And you know, I'm doing this pretty hard so I can see what's going on. So something like that. And then lower the opacity of that. So, and also lower the opacity of this. I need a color balance layer because all of that white light got added there. And so I'm going to create a new color balance. Color balance, there we go, layer. And bring in some yellow. Just a little bit of yellow there. Try and match that lamb up a little bit better with the background. Alright, still quite a bit of light. I think we're getting close to what we're looking at here. probably want to add a little bit more, Control J, a little bit more contrast. So I'm going to grab this layer, bring it up here. Oh, what did you just do? Well, I got rid of all those changes I just made. And make it hard light. Now make it a linear light. That's even crazier. Go to Filter, Other, High Pass. We're creating a high pass layer. It should be pretty close to the same right now. And let's find the lamb right there. Zoom in on him. What we're trying to do is find the texture of that lamb and bring in some more of that texture. I'm going to sharpen them up a little bit so that the brightness that we added doesn't just overwhelm the texture in the lamb. So there we go. All right, and again with the layer mask, with the brush tool on black at about 20%, I can take some of that texture off on this side because, you know, we want texture where the light is and not necessarily so much where it's darker. All these little ideas. Okay, so now let's look, and we have a really bright lamb and a highly sharpened lamb. So I'm gonna raise the size of my brush and put it to 10% and just take a little bit of that sharpening off like that. Then I'm gonna lower the brightness on that lamb. Added all that brightness, and then I'm going to lower it. Something like that. All right, so you're watching me do all this work. All right, so you know, I'll have to work on that a little bit with the brightness and contrast of this lamb. That's looking a little better. All right. So then the next thing is we're going to put his feet under. All right, I messed that up. And there we go. Putting his feet under. So to do that, I'm going to go all the way back down to this layer here. All right, and I'm actually going to turn off all the other layers by pressing Alt and just selecting that layer right there. Turn on the lamb, turn off the lamb. So we see where the lamb is standing, and I'm going to hit W. That's the quick select tool. And I'm going to zoom in here, right around where the lamb would be standing. Quick select tool. Just once again, as a reference, I'm going to turn the lamb off and on. And so I want this selected here. Basically down here where the lamb would be. All right, then we'll go into selected mask. And what I want to do is, with the quick select tool and Alt, I'm just going to get rid of this extra here. I don't think we're going to need that. So with the Refine Edge tool, with R, the Refine Edge tool, see if we can't pull some of this grass up here out of the darkness. Okay, see what happens with that. Okay, I like it. See, what it does is it makes some of it transparent and some of it not transparent, just like its hair or something like that. And it allows it to cover up the feet, so we have less problems with shadows. And we can then grab the brush tool on white grab the brush tool. I hit X to switch between the two colors, but hit D to make them default, and then X to switch to white. And at about 50% on a much smaller brush, right, we see we have this grass here, right, like that. We've got some grass here. We just paint this in. Covering it up. I like it. I think it's working out pretty good there. Alright, so the lamb is in place. It's not just standing there hovering over. Alright, and there's plenty of light on him. He's in the light. You can see that he's not in a shadow. He's in the light. There's nothing, no shadows casting on him. Alright, so I did something interesting. I didn't turn the sky back on. Alright, so there we have it. This is what I would do to put this lamb into this image. And I'm thinking he looks pretty good. Let's just go ahead and go back up to make sure I'm on the right layer mask. And let's paint this up more like this. I think there's more grass up there to be had. Disable that layer mask and re-enable it. Let's go ahead and put all this grass back in. Alright, now I've drawn too much, didn't I? So just hit X and start painting away what I did on the spots I don't want it. Shift and then clicking will disable the layer mask. No, that's pretty good. X. Just put this back here. About like that. Not too much. Just playing around now. And once again, disable and re-enable. Alright, I think that looks great. So I do like that the lamb is behind this grass and behind this grass. It just gives it a much more in the picture feel than floating on top of the picture. So I know this was long drawn out, me babbling at times, and I'll go ahead and close it here. If you have any questions about anything I did, I am available and you can ask me. This has been Paul Payton with Focal Splash, and this is how I would do it. Not necessarily the only way to do it or the best way to do it or even the right way to do it. But if you disagree with me, I'd like to know. I'd like to learn if you know a better way to do what I just did. And that's it. So you can find me at Focal Splash on YouTube and Focal Splash on Facebook. Thank you.